Alrighty, we're in the kitchen with Kevin Osfolk, owner and head chef at the Beer Garden in Portsmouth, just right down the street. I hope you found your way here okay.
Oh, it was a struggle, but we made it.
It was a struggle, huh? You didn't get stuck in traffic, did you?
Nice.
It's like a mile from here. But listen, we're excited. You're making a schnitzel, and please correct me and say it right. How do you?
Schnitzel. Schnitzel's correct. It's just a German term for cutlet.
Cutlet, but it's different. It's a pork schnitzel, but it's not pork schnitzel. It's how is it, Kevin? How's it go?
Well, Schweine Schnitzel.
Schweine, you're a German restaurant, a Bavarian place. You got to set me straight, man. I mean, you make this every day.
Yes, sir.
Say it one more time for me, Kevin.
Schweine Schnitzel.
Schweine Schnitzel. All right, we're going to get cooking here in just a moment, so stick around, everybody. We're back in the kitchen with Kevin Osfolk, owner and head chef from the Beer Garden in Portsmouth. They're one of the great restaurants participating in NATO Fest this weekend, and Kevin is making a Beer Garden specialty, and I'll let you explain. What are you making for us, Kevin?
Today we're going to make schnitzel. We're going to make a pork schnitzel. The word schnitzel just means cutlet. It could be any meat, really. Chicken, veal,
right.
Rabbit.
I guess most people have heard of Wiener Schnitzel. This is a Schweine Schnitzel,
Yes, sir.
which is pork schnitzel. Tell us about the Beer Garden, obviously a German restaurant. Tell us all about it.
We've been open since '97. You know, family place. We all decided to go in together and you know, open up something we would enjoy and be able to spend time together.
So you say a family place. I noticed your sister is here. Who else is involved? Mom and dad or what?
Mom and dad. My wife works there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very cool. And, of course, it's the Beer Garden, so you've got lots of great beers. Talk about that. What do you have on tap? What do you have there? You
know, we have we carry at any given time anywhere from 300 to 400 beers.
Wow.
So
large
amount of German and Belgian.
Uh-huh. And what's the difference between a German and Belgian beer than, say, maybe a domestic beer here in the United States?
Wow, we could go a lot of places with that. The American beers are getting much better nowadays.
Okay.
A lot of craft breweries. The Germans are very, very strict on. They have a purity law. Can only be barley, hops, yeast, and water. Nothing else.
They're very. They take their beer serious in Germany.
Of course.
Okay, so listen, let's go ahead and get started with this. As you can tell, I've scrubbed in only because Kevin brought a mallet, and I'm going to have some fun with that. So you go ahead and show me what you got with the schnitzel.
Okay, well, you take a pork loin, and typically if you buy them in the grocery store, it's going to be slightly smaller, but you want to make a cut about an inch wide, so you get something like this. And you can trim the fat before or after. I like to do it after.
After you cut it?
After I make the cut,
okay.
It gives me a little more control over
right.
how much I'm leaving on there and what I'm taking off.
Right.
So we'll just set that aside, and we're going to want to get into the mallet now.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, I like to lay down some plastic bags. These big gallon bags do pretty well. Otherwise, meat will be flying all over the place.
We don't want that.
We don't want that. At home or whatever, you can use saran wrap, but these are a little thicker and stronger.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's some thick stuff.
If you don't have a mallet at home, a roller does good, a rolling pin.
Okay.
I've heard of people using big
skillets. Do you roll it or do you pound it with the rolling pin?
Pound it.
Okay, pound it. That's what I thought.
Yeah. And when using a mallet like this, I don't like to use these sides because it tears the meat up.
Okay. Well, what would you use that side for?
I mean, and a lot of people like to use it as tenderizing,
okay.
and if you have a tougher meat, but pork is really, it's not that.
All right. Put it to work.
All right. So we like to go around the edges here. Make a lot of noise in the studio.
This is really the key to schnitzel, though, is to make sure it's nice and flat.
You want to get it good and tenderized. Flip sides. And kind of work your way around the outside. If you start in the middle, it's going to tear a lot then, too.
Take that, schnitzel.
And we're... and then the sides really, about like this is good.
Okay, very nice.
And it's a little personal preference, too.
Perfect. And now I understand why you didn't use the serrated edge, because you would really beat the heck out of that.
It would be all over the place. Okay. We'll add a little seasoning.
Okay, a little bit of seasoning.
This is just a house seasoning we put together.
And then you're going to take it over here. And why don't you go ahead, before you put it in the pan, show us the rest of the wash, or what you're going to put it in.
Okay. We have our egg wash over here. So start with flour. The flour sticks to the food. Next you go to the egg wash, egg and milk, and that egg wash will stick to the flour. Try to get a little bit of the excess off of it.
And is that the breadcrumb?
And this is your breading. And you can use whatever breading you prefer.
All right, so that's a good place to stop. When we come back, we'll go ahead and put it in the pan, and we'll finish it up, and we'll show you the perfect beer to pair with the schnitzel. All right, Kevin, good job with that.
All right.
And I didn't get to use the gloves.
I was waiting on you to pound the schnitzel.
I know. When the Welcome back to the Hampton Road Show, everybody. We're back in the kitchen with Kevin Osfolk, owner and head chef from the Beer Garden in Portsmouth. They're one of the great restaurants participating in NATO Fest this weekend, and he's making a Beer Garden specialty, Schweine Schnitzel. And getting back to NATO Fest this weekend, I mean, you talk about so many things going on this weekend in downtown Norfolk. It used to be Azalea Fest, now it's NATO Fest. Like all 28 countries are represented, and your restaurant, Beer Garden, is participating. What are you going to do for people who come by the Beer Garden this weekend?
About the restaurant or come by the festival?
Well, with the restaurant. You know, I mean, you're coming out there, you're going to show them some great food and some great beer,
Absolutely,
obviously.
business as usual, you know.
Business as usual.
Some beer and some food.
Very nice. Okay, so when I left, you were coating the schnitzel.
The schnitzel, and we just remove it and place it over here in our saute pan. Now, what I'm using right here is lard. Now, this would be Grandma's recipe.
Okay.
At the restaurant, we do not do this. They are cooked in a fryer and peanut oil.
Okay.
But this, I tell you, lard really adds some flavor to it.
Okay, so you're going with Grandma's recipe just for a shout out to Grandma?
Absolutely.
How about Mom and Dad? You got shout outs for anybody out there? Maybe the wife, the kids?
Mom,
I mean, who
Dad,
do you got,
wife,
man?
little 15-month-old Ruby.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's kind of neat that the Beer Garden is a family restaurant. Does that keep you guys closer, or sometimes you fighting, infighting? How's that work? The family's working together.
We work it out.
Will you work it out?
Yeah.
Tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from?
Born in Virginia Beach, raised in Chesapeake. Went to Great Bridge High School.
Great Bridge High School?
Yeah.
And you've been at the Beer Garden for how long now? What, 97 did you say?
We opened in '97.
Very nice. Okay, some other menu favorites there at the Beer Garden.
Ooh, my favorites would be Sauerbraten, Rouladen, or Schweinebraten. And they're more involved as far as cooking.
Right.
I think maybe that's why.
What is the one meal that you make the most that people come in and... This right
looking
here?
at it.
Really?
People know schnitzel.
Right.
You know,
They kind of know what it is.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so how are we looking? How long do you keep it in there?
we let this cook about 3 minutes on each side. And you want the lard to cover the schnitzel. You know, it's kind of contrary to what you would normally think. You're like, oh, I don't want to put as much in, but it will burn and it won't cook as well otherwise.
Very nice.
You just kind of check it, look at the color. We want a good golden brown to it. Don't really want to burn it.
No, definitely not.
And schnitzel goes good with
Sauerkraut, potatoes, German
potato
potato
salad,
salad.
sauerkraut, cucumber salad's light and refreshing. Kind of counterbalance the meat.
And what else do you serve it with there at the Beer Garden?
Well, my favorite accompaniment with schnitzel will be a nice Hefeweizen.
Yeah, tell me about that beer. What you got there?
This is Schneider Edelweiss. A Hefeweizen is a wheat beer, and there's a nice yeast cloud that settles through it on the pour. Very light, very refreshing, good for warm weather.
Right.
And the trick with a Hefeweizen is the pour.
All right, well, show us the trick. Here we go.
I'm going to slide it in here. They are called Weizen beers, which refer to the wheat. But you can also see it here. It says Weiss, which means white, and it's referring to the thick white head that you get in the beer. But either way, it's still a Weiss beer.
Okay, very nice.
So you give it a little roll, so you can get your yeast to settle down, and finish off your pour.
Now, was that really necessary? I mean, how many times have you dropped the bottle doing that?
Never.
Never. You didn't have me do it,
At least
though.
that's for the record, anyway.
Going flying off here. Okay, so that looks like a great pour right there. You can get a pour just like that at the beer garden. And then the schnitzel is just about done. This is something that we can't wait to try. And of course, we wish you were here so you could smell this wonderful food. All right, so check out the Beer Garden. They're located at 438 High Street in Portsmouth, or give them a call at 393-6022, or look them up online at beergarden.com. His name is Kevin. He's taking part this weekend in NATO Fest, so go by there, check out the Beer Garden, and get some fine German food. Great having you today, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.